Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. I should thank you because you immediately came when I asked you.
My pleasure. Let me ask you a question. Is that a window behind you that there's still daylight out?
No, I'm at balcony and I'm outside always.
On the balcony, but it's still daylight there.
It's I just it is a light. It is a light which I put in front of me.
No, but I mean outside the balcony, it's daylight. It's not dark.
It's dark.
Well, but I mean, there's still you can see the clouds. That's awesome. It's nice to see you in daytime or evening time.
Yeah, we did videos in the morning time
Oh, that's
before.
awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So I thought to ask you some random questions. Um, One of my
One of my
observer
observer
who is
who is
observing my
observing my
YouTube
YouTube
channel
channel
saw you
saw
talking
you
about
talking about
things
things
and said
and said
that you
that
are
you are
speaking very
speaking
good.
And what?
You are explaining things very good.
very good.
I'm experiencing very good.
Yeah, I mean you are explaining things in
Oh,
very
I'm
good way.
explaining things well. Oh, that's well. I'm happy to hear that. I hope so.
So I think you are the right person with whom I can talk with you. We can with whom I can talk again and again.
Yes, absolutely. I love this. This is great.
So other than writing books, what do you do?
I,
Other than writing books, what you'll do?
oh, what do I do? Well, I teach, and I teach online and in live events. But now with the coronavirus, most of everything is online. I have, if people are interested, they can go to nlponline.com. That's N is in like now, L is in let's, P is in party, like now let's party
Okay.
online.com. Now NLP. And so I have my programs there. It's my company. It's called Idea Seminars, and I have a program called and products. I have, obviously books. I've done audio programs. I do video programs for learning, for people to learn how to let go, to become their authentic self, to become better as a person, however they want to do it, whether they want to be happier, healthier, wealthier, or more successful, whether they want to meditate, be more peaceful, and calm and together. And then I also make movies. I act and I direct and I produce motion pictures. I'm
Okay.
not producing anything right now, and I'm not directing anything right now. I just acted in a movie last October called Shooting Star, or November actually, in California, and I play a town agitator. I am an activist against a corrupt Western sheriff and mayor of a town who are kind of robbing the people of their money, and so I am the guy who tries to point that out. And one of my men gets killed during that. The sheriff shoots him, and it's a western. It's like a cowboy movie from the 1800s, and I play this long-haired townsperson. So that's coming out in November. I don't know when it's coming out, but I just got word that it's coming out in October this year somewhere. So I know.
Okay. So what do you say about the people who are committing suicides for their reasons?
What do I say about people committing suicide?
Yeah.
I think a bad decision made too soon is not a smart choice. When someone decides to terminate their life and they don't, because they can't see that there's other options for them, I think that's truly sad because there's so much more available. We don't know what we don't know, and we don't know what tomorrow brings. We only know what we choose to focus on, or what we focus on inadvertently or by default, by from our conditioning. So when someone is in the position where they feel so hopeless and so helpless that they don't think anything will can save them, I mean that's a truly difficult place for anyone to be, and my heart goes out to them. But that is the time they should reach out and they should ask others for help. It's one thing if somebody is, for example, a terminal patient. They know that they're going to die. They're in hospice, or there's there's no hope and they're in incredible, pain and they can't stand it. It's one thing for someone to make a decision that they don't want to live any longer. But if our pain is emotional pain, if our pain is the kind of pain that can be resolved by forgiving oneself or forgiving another person, or from finding a friend or a loved one or connecting in a certain way, they should definitely hold out for that. You can't take back a suicide. You can't undo it. And I always think, if you just wait one more day, if you just go one more day, there's a beauty. Are you familiar with the 12-step programs like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous? Do they have that in India? Well, it's an approach for people who have a drug or alcohol addiction. Actually, alcohol is a drug, so it's all the same thing. But they say trust your higher power, give yourself, your life, your addiction to the higher power, and know you can't do it alone. You need some help from other people. You need some help from a higher power. Whether that higher power is you, whether it's a God, whether it's a cosmos, whether it's a group of other addicts who are in recovery. But to do it one day at a time. And if you listen to some of as I have, you listen to some of the people who have suffered years and years of horrific alcohol abuse or drug abuse or even suicide, wanting to commit suicide. They go, if I can just get through the next 15 seconds, I'll be okay. The next 15 seconds, I just got to get through the next hour. I got to get through the next day. And they live that way, getting through bit by bit by bit. But it's like eating a meal. You don't take the whole meal and shove it in your face. You eat it bite by bite. And so if people can hold off making a decision that's going to harm not only themselves physically, but it's going to hurt their family and their friends and everybody who knows them. A suicide doesn't just affect the person who commits suicide, it affects everybody around them.
Have you tried killing yourself any time in your life?
Oh, you asked that the first time we met, and yeah, when I was about 25, I had gotten, now I live the life that I want in my dreams. But back then I had a skydiving accident that hurt my back. And I went to a doctor to try and get something so I could sleep and get rid of the pain. And he gave me a combination of pills that was fatal. It should have killed me, but it didn't. And so I would take these pills and it just mentally screwed me up horribly. And during that time, I lost my girlfriend. I lost my movie career. I lost most of all of my friends. Literally, and I didn't know what to do. I ached. I felt horrible. I wanted to die. And one day I jumped out of a 2-story window, and it was an impulse. I didn't plan it. I didn't think it. I just went, screw everything. And I ran and broke through this window and went down. And I lived. I lived, and I was like, I ran back upstairs to try and do it again, but I had locked myself out of my apartment because I didn't think to open the door. I didn't expect to be coming back in. And so I couldn't get back in, and people who lived in the building knew that I was upstairs. It was like, how are you going inside when you were upstairs? So they knew something was wrong. And so at that point, I just broke down. I cried. I just said, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue. I'm miserable. And they thought, well, maybe we should put you in an institution. We should have you get some, So while they were deciding that, they took at those days, they had distributor caps on cars. They took the distributor cap up so I couldn't get in my car and drive anywhere. They pretty much camped out outside my apartment so that I couldn't leave. They didn't think I'd jump out again, and I didn't think I would either at that point. But and so then I ended up locking myself in my apartment for 6 weeks. Not right away. I went through a whole lot more stuff. For about a year, I went through more stuff. I had amnesia for a long time. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't get anyone to talk to me. I started drinking heavily, and doing other things. And but I finally said, you know what? I need to get my life back. I can't live this way. I might as well die if I can't get it back. So I locked myself in my apartment. I write about this in my book, Life on Your Terms. It's my story. I talk about this. And I locked myself in my apartment, and I started to visualize I did self-hypnosis. I tried meditating. I did affirmations. And there came a point when I realized I was asking myself all sorts of wrong questions. I was going, why did this happen to me? How come, I'm so unlucky? Why am I such an idiot? How come nothing ever works out? And I was asking all these questions, and I realized that that wasn't helping me at all. That was hurting me. And then I'd think, well, how long is it going to take me to get my life back? You know, what if I never get my friends back? And then I realized, well, those weren't helping me either. To think, how long is it going to be? It could take years. So I started to ask myself different questions, like how soon can I begin to feel better? And if I felt better, where would I feel better in my body? And how soon can I make changes that will allow me to go outside and get my friends back? And who would be the first friend I would want to talk to? Or, how confident do I need to be in order to face the world? And so I started asking myself a different kind of question. And that led me to different conclusions. And I started to feel better. And after 6 weeks of this, I came out of my apartment. I wasn't Superman. I wasn't this, but I felt better. Um, I was shaky, kind of like a newborn baby trying to crawl. And but it led me. What I realized and what I write about in my book, and the basis of my entire work for 40 years has been ask the kind of question you ask yourself determines the kind of life you have. So the better quality question you ask, the better experience you can have. So if you say, in how many different ways can I discover I'm a valuable person? Did you know in English we say we have what's called the tip of the tongue phenomenon? Are you familiar with this? It's when if you said, oh, I saw this movie the other day and this actor, oh geez, who's the actor? I can't. What's the name of the actor? And you can't think of the name, but you know that the actor's name. Have you ever experienced something like that? You know it, but you can't pull it up yet. It's called tip of the tongue in English, and it was what science calls it. And what it truly is it's the information, but the more you try and get it, the harder it is. So you go, what is it? What is it? What is it? And you don't get it, and it's kind of like you get tight and you constrict, and it's not coming. So you go, the hell with it, whatever. And minutes later, hours later, days later, you go, oh, it was this. Maybe you did it with your keys. I've done it where I put my keys down. I go, where the heck are my keys? Where the heck are my keys? Where the heck are my keys? Dad, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, they're over here, and then I go find my keys. So what it tells you is that the brain will work on a question long after you stop asking the question if you don't know the answer to it. And in the work that I do, this is called trans-derivational search. It means that the brain will continue to seek an answer. So if I ask you what the capital of India is, or the capital of your region, or if I ask you what what you had for breakfast, you know that answer. That's not what we're talking about. We're asking a question that you don't know. So for me, I didn't know what it would take to feel good or to feel better. I only knew I needed to feel better. So I'd say, in how many different ways can I begin to feel better? I don't know. How soon can I begin to feel better? I don't know. Where will I feel better in my body first? I don't know. But the brain will continue to work on that. So if you sincerely ask, and you sincerely, are looking for an answer as opposed to just go, whoa, and repeating it like it's nothing, then your brain works on it. And so what happens is your brain starts delivering these answers. And you start, and it's not necessarily a verbal answer. Sometimes it's a behavioral answer, or it's an emotional answer, or it's a mental answer. Something flashes up in your mind, and you go, "Oh my gosh!" You start connecting things in different ways because your brain continues to search. So you have to ask great questions. If you go, why am I so stupid? Your brain will go, well, because you did this when you were 4 years old, or you didn't do that when you were 4 years old. But if you say, how come I'm so smart, or in how many different ways am I talented, or in how many different ways can I discover how truly incredible I am, your brain will come up with those. Now, the difference is this, and this is what I had to go through, and I did this 40 years ago, and I'm telling you now, and anyone can do this now, and like I said, I write about it in the book, and in other things. It's in my mind design programs, it's on the attitude activator program, I mean, different things. Not the explanation, but the usage of it. you want to be able to just relax into it and release it and not force it. You're inviting it, you're welcoming it, and you're receiving it. And so you're truly asking, you know, in what ways could this be different that makes me smile? In what ways could this be different that benefits me? In what ways could this be different? And your your brain will deliver an answer. I did all of this legwork back 40 years ago, and what I discovered was that, you know, as I sat there when I was in crisis, my mind was going to all the negative things that were happening, and so all my questions were up negative stuff. And as I started to ask better questions, it started to free me up a little bit. It wasn't like a lightning bolt out of the sky, but I started to feel a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. So the more I did it, the more I got to feel better, and the more used to feeling better I got. So here's the thing: if most people, and most people do, ask themselves really bad questions, they ask poor questions, poor quality questions. They ask the kind of questions like, why does bad things happen to me? Why don't things work out? How come I don't have money? You know, why am I such a stupid person? Things like that. When you start asking yourself positive questions, it takes a little time to get used to, because you're not used to doing it. It's not a habit. The habit is doing the old thing. The habit is doing the negative questions. So the more that you ask, the more you build a positive habit, the easier it gets. And then the brain goes, oh, you don't want to ask those bad questions. You want to ask these questions instead. And that's where the transformation begins to take place. But you need to make it a habit. You have to start asking yourself, like, daily, you know. And so when people are on suicide, they're not thinking about, how many different people do I love? What are the good things in my life that I want to live for? What is the thing that brings me the most joy? You know, if I got over this difficulty, how would my life improve? You know, how many wonderful things can I find about myself? How many different reasons can I find to live and to enjoy life and to thrive? So they're not asking the right questions. They're doing exactly the opposite. So it's a very sad thing when someone, you know, makes a choice that there's no hope and there's no help and that there's nothing that they can do but to opt out and to end their life, when they're a gift to the planet and they could contribute and could be contributed to, but they aren't yet able to see past their suffering to see that there's many, many more wonderful things out there for them. And that's true about all of us, not even in suicide. That's true about us. Oh, there's my dog Bailey. That's true of us. Bailey, hang on. That's true of us in everything. People go, you know, I'm broke and I can't figure out how to make money, and everything sucks, or you know, I'm stupid, I didn't go to school and I don't know what to do. So instead of, they make excuses, they complain or they blame, instead of asking questions that direct their mind in the way that they want to and need to be directed to get to where they want to go. Okay. And lastly, I'll say this, because I've talked a long time without letting you talk. And that is, if you are in New Delhi and you want to get somewhere else, like to say Mumbai, you need to know how to, you don't need to know how to get to Mumbai. You just need to know that you want to get to Mumbai. You know, I mean, in other words, if you know what your destination is, then you can make the trip plans. And as you travel to Mumbai, you may have detours, there may be hazards, there may be delays, there might be anything that comes up, but as long as you keep heading to the direction that you want to go in, you'll ultimately get there. And that is the same thing with recovering from an alcohol abuse or addiction, a suicide, overcoming the somebody wanting to commit suicide, becoming successful in life, getting healthy, losing weight, feeling better, and being happier is know what your destination is, and then keep moving towards your destination. And whatever comes your way is part of that journey. And if you can celebrate all along the way to the journey, then not only getting to your destination will be fun, but on the way will be fun. And that's how you make life better, by saying, right now it's I'm blessed. Come here, Bailey. Come here. You know, and living moment to moment, as opposed to living out of the past and living from pain and living from hurt and living from disappointment. live from hope, live from optimism, live from positivity, live from finding the good things that are there. Because they're there, they just seem hidden a lot of the time. But they're there. It's like a buried treasure. You got to remove a lot of dirt to get to the buried treasure, but it's there. So it's within us. And those people who lose hope or give up hope aren't looking for their buried treasure. They're looking at what prevents them from seeing the buried treasure, and they need to stop looking at what prevents them and start looking at all the good things that are possible.
Definitely, if anybody who sees this video, who have suicidal thoughts, definitely your words will affect them, will make them think about the importance of the life, at the same time, importance of the presence of.
I sure hope so. I truly hope so. I mean, it's hard to feel hopeless. I haven't. I knew what that was like, many years ago. I felt completely hopeless. I didn't think anything would ever change. It was never going to be different. But I'm alive 40 years later to say, you know what? It gets so much better if you just hang in there. If you just don't make a stupid decision and choose to live and choose life and choose to affirm life and choose to find your gifts and your talents and connect to the people who love you. If it seems hopeless, it only seems that way, but it's not hopeless. So I do hope that these words reach people, who might be considering some unwise decisions, and I hope it turns them around and it steers them toward truly a beautiful life that you can have.
Thank you so much, Rex, for giving your time and telling about the important things, uh, which are connected with humans. Thank you so much for giving your time again. And can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Thank you. I'll come with another topic whenever. Yeah.
And I appreciate so much what you're doing. So, Bailey, hang in there, honey. Hang in there. Well, I appreciate so much what you're doing, and our conversations. I love talking with you, and I do really hope that whether it's this video or any of the other videos we've done, that people find hope and they find positivity and they find solutions and options for living an enjoyable life. Because I say create your best life ever. And it doesn't. Bailey, what are you doing? It doesn't happen by. Come here. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. You actually have to take charge of your life and make it a good one. Because it's not about luck. It's not about it just happening. And that's too many people live that way. Like, when's something good going to happen to me? Go out and make something good happen for you. And the way that you make something good happen for you is go help someone else. Help put a smile on someone else, say a kind word, open a door, carry somebody's groceries, tip a little better in a restaurant or whatever, or a drive or something. But the way you really, when you're most down and out, the best way to feel better is to help somebody else feel better. Because then you feel productive, you've contributed, you've shared, you've gotten out of your own head and out of your own mind and out of your own problems to see somebody else and to see them. And you watch them transform and to have them say, oh, thank you so much. Go help people and share it and spread it around the world. The last thing we need to do is like lock ourselves in our homes and wallow in pain and suffering. Go out and help change the world. And when you do that, Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. You got to go first. And what's so beautiful about you is you say, would you like to do a show? You ask. There's a question. Would you like to do a show? Can we do a show? You ask a question, and obviously, I'm assuming, you're hoping that you get an answer that you want. But the point is, you go first. You ask. You do something. You initiate, and that's how you get things in life. Jesus said, "Ask, you shall receive." If you don't ask and you don't do anything and you don't try anything and you don't. So you have to ask and you have to do. My rule, I call it Rex's rule, is go first. If you want somebody to like you, like them first. If you want somebody to listen to you, listen to them first. If you want someone to respect you, respect them first. You give what you want to receive. Because, we have this saying in America, birds of a feather flock together. It's like the law of attraction. The same type of, if you put out respect, you get respect back. You know, and so if you put out love, you get love back. It may not be obvious at first, but it will come your way. So help people, go first, initiate, and ask yourself better questions, and ask of the universe, ask of your God, ask of your higher self, you know, and make your life an incredible life.
Thank you so much again. This video is one of the best videos among all my videos. Thank you so much, and I love talking with you. I just loved, I just thought to talk with Rex because the conversations with you made me to ask you again. So this is my personal, I love to talk with you. And when I'm talking with you, when I'm asking you some questions that may be important for the people who watches this video. So it will be
Let me ask,
benefit for me. It will be benefit for me at the same time. I'm putting it in public in a YouTube channel. They are seeing and they will watch it. They will learn from it. They will know it. They will change their decisions by seeing you, listening to you. So yeah,
but also realize, I mean, that you are the catalyst for that. You are the medium that gets me to them. So
yeah.
you are providing such a marvelous and incredible service for other people by asking guests to come on your show and have them share their knowledge or experience. What led you to do the show? How did you decide to do the show?
Like if Rex was 27, what Rex will do, I'm doing the same.
Very cool. You beat me to it. It took me years and years and years to do it, and you're doing it at a good young age. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
But I will remember you even after 40. After me becoming 40, I will remember Rex Sikes for sure because
Well,
you are the person who inspired me, who made me to go forward.
oh, that's so cool. That's really really cool. My heart goes out to you. And one of these days, hopefully, we'll meet in person one of these days too. Wouldn't that be cool? I would love that. I'd sit down and have some food together or something. I would love that. But in the meantime, we have Skype and we have these conversations, so I enjoy it very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I'll
you.
come
You
with
mean
another topic.
pardon me?
Sorry, sorry.
I didn't.
I mean, I'll come with another topic, another interesting and important topic which is connected with human, and I will talk with you whenever you give me time again.
Anytime. Whenever I can, I'm happy to talk and happy to share with you and the viewers who tend to watch this. So yeah, anytime. It worked out perfect today. I have something happening in about 20 minutes, and then I've got the full day. And so it was just, I just happened to go and check Instagram, and I saw your message. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Let's see if this works. And then I looked. I thought, did you ask me that yesterday? When did this happen? And then suddenly you were there. I was like, oh, how cool. So things work out really well.
Do you have anything to say at last about people who have suicidal thoughts?
Well, I mean, any other words? Well, I mean, I think I've said it all. Wait, just wait, put it off. It's like delay that. If you have suicidal thoughts, just start thinking other thoughts. Um, this is not the time for a commercial, but I do encourage people to read my book because it is about claiming your life back. It is about learning how to overcome thoughts that are not pleasant thoughts and to begin to think different thoughts. One of the things that when I did the Attitude Activator, which is an audio program that people can listen to in order to help program their minds and to feel better, I took a year to try and construct it so that it was the way I wanted it. And one of the things that I talk about to people is, what does the word stuck imply? It implies no movement. If your car is stuck in the mud or the sand or in the snow, your tires can be spinning, but you can't get out because there's no contact in a productive way. And so you're stuck and there's no movement. You're not going anywhere. And so if you're stuck, what you want to do is create movement in order to get out, right? So you want to create the right movement, the productive movement. So if people think of it this way, if you walked halfway into the desert, if you kept going in the same direction, what ultimately is going to happen? You're going to come out the other side, right? If you sail from one side of the ocean and you keep going, you'd get to the other side of the ocean. If you go into a forest, you'd come out the other side of the forest. So as long as you keep moving in a direction towards something that is a better choice for you than suicide or poverty or unhealthiness or sadness or whatever it might be, you'll get to the other side. It's the same thing as when we get confused. Do you know that confusion usually precedes understanding? When you learn things in school, you get all these things told you, and most people get a little bit confused. But ultimately, if they stick with it and they continue to study it and continue to learn it, that confusion becomes understanding. What happens for people is they get afraid of confusion and they don't like it, so they get frustrated. And when they get frustrated, they then get angry. And when they get angry, they start blaming either the material that they're learning or the teacher that they're learning or themselves that they're not good enough with learning. And so instead of coming to understanding easily, they get distracted and they get diverted into something that's less than glorious and less than productive. All they have to do in order to stop is to change that anger or frustration back into confusion. Well, why the heck was I angry? I don't even know why I was angry. What was that all about? Get confused, because the confusion will come back to understanding. So if you move in the same direction, like I was talking about going to Mumbai, if you move in a positive direction, you ultimately get there. So you don't want to stop along the way. I always tell people, if you're running a marathon, which is different than a sprint, but if you're going for a marathon, like you're going to run 100 miles, it doesn't matter when you cross the finish line. It just matters that you cross the finish line. If you stop anywhere before the 100 miles is up, you haven't completed the marathon. You quit, you threw in the towel. But if you keep going, even if it took you 3 weeks, 3 months, you would have run the 100 miles. So there's a certain thing about sticking with the positive program and letting go of the negative program, and people just do the opposite in their life. They hang on to the negativity because that's what they're used to, and even though it hurts, that's what's most comfortable and that's what's most familiar, because that's how they've lived, and it hurts and it's suffering and it's painful. And instead of letting go of it and going, I forgive myself, I forgive the situation, I forgive the people involved, I let go, I drop it, I'm gonna focus on this instead. But that's absolutely what they have to do. So in the Attitude Activator, what I did, and it's simple that anybody can do, and you can practice this, but you practice it to get good, is that when you start feeling frustrated, or you start feeling sad, or you start feeling angry, or you start feeling something you don't want to feel, you need to stop. Because if you keep doing it, you'll keep doing it, right? If you keep doing it, you can also get through it. But what I'm saying is, you stop, you take a deep breath, and you let it all go. You might have to take 2 deep breaths or 10 deep breaths, but you take a deep breath, you pause, you interrupt what was going on. And then you shift from where you were into where you want to be headed. So if when you're driving down the road, or if you're walking down the street and you realize you're going in the wrong direction, what do?
I'll stop. I'll stop and I'll think.
Yeah, and then you go in the direction that you meant to go in, right? You go to you change and you go in the right direction. That's what we have to do when we're troubled, when we're stuck, when we're sad, when we're angry, when we're feeling unloved, when we're feeling suicidal. We need to stop, take a pause, take a breath, let it all out, let it all go, and then turn into the direction that we want to, and start asking good questions, start thinking good thoughts, start connecting with people, reach out, get help. Ask somebody to help you, help another person, but do something that frees you from the habit of the pain and puts you in a position where you can move forward into the new way of being. And again, I just have to remind people, moving into the new way of being is unfamiliar. It's not a habit. Although we've done it from time to time in life, we tend to go with what we're most used to. So if we're most used to suffering, that's what we do, and we have to learn how to feel good. And there are some people in the world who just tend to grow up feeling good. They for whatever reason, whomever they're around or whatever, they tend to be happy, positive people. Maybe it's their family or their church or their temple or whomever. The culture around them helps them feel better. But for most people, 99% of the people in the world, they don't live that way, but they can, and that's the good news. And that's what I've been trying to tell people for 40 years. You can, you don't have to jump out of a window. You don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to feel bad, all of your life. You can stop, let it go, and then move into what you want. And 40 years later, you look back and go, you know what? That was a defining moment for me when I decided I should live. I need to live. I can contribute to the world. And you move forward. So it's all in. It's it's here. It comes from within. And if you start thinking the right thoughts, you start feeling the right feelings. If you think crappy thoughts, you're going to feel bad feelings.
Yeah,
So if you think this is what people don't get. If you go, I feel stupid, I'm stupid, and that makes a person feel bad, then the next thought is going to be a less than glorious thought. It's going to be,
yeah,
and everything sucks or whatever it might be, and then that's going to make them feel worse. And then the next thought is going to be another negative thought. If you stop, take a deep breath, and think, well, it's true. I have thought in my past that I was stupid, but I could learn to be different. Or there are things that I've done successfully. Or I thought I was stupid, but I play soccer really well. I know how to play soccer. I mean, that's one thing. It's just it's the opportunity to direct your mind into your talents and your abilities and the things that you're good at. And even if you're not the best at anything, you can get better at things. Maybe you cook well. Maybe you can make a great bed. It doesn't. You just start finding the winnings, the things that you are good at. And you emphasize those and de-emphasize. Here's how I put it: there is
okay,
dog crap, and there are
okay,
diamonds,
okay,
and it's a choice. Which would you
okay,
rather have?
yeah,
I'd rather have diamonds. Wouldn't you?
yeah,
Okay. But a lot of people do this with the dog crap.
okay,
they,
okay,
they they live in it. They wallow in it. They eat it. They. And I go, it's a choice. Which do you choose? Dog crap or diamonds? Dog crap or diamonds? Dog crap or diamonds? We have that choice every second of the day. Anger,
okay,
happiness. Sadness, joy. Arguments, friendship. There's always a choice.
okay.
Now, so choose, and I would choose diamonds. So
You are a diamond.
yeah. So choose to live, choose to be happy, choose life, choose to celebrate, choose to help other people. And life gets better.
Okay. Thank you, Rex. Thank you so much for telling about a lot of things. We'll see you again soon.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so good to talk with you. I hope you have a fabulous. It's apparently the sun is setting in your time, and at some point you'll go to sleep. Have a good night's sleep, and wake up refreshed tomorrow, and have a marvelous weekend and a beautiful coming week. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah, Rex. You too. Be happy.
And you too.
Thank you so much.